Chet Stutts and Cecil Scott in the booth for what promises to be an explosive tag team matchup. Months and months of tension, Cecil, between these two teams, and tonight they will duke it out for the tag team titles.
I mean, you take away the tension, you still got a world-class tag team matchup here, but you add in all the ingredients and you've got a cake of explosiveness.
And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your CWF Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champions, the Dynasty, Xsiris, and the first Ric Converse.
The Dynasty make their entrance into CWF Mid-Atlantic Opportunity Knocks 2013. Two of the most decorated wrestlers in the history of this organization, Xsiris and Converse, between them have held every championship in CWF Mid-Atlantic. Converse, a former six-time heavyweight champion in his very first run as Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Champion. Xsiris, the first man to ever win the Grand Slam. He began his career as Rising Generation League champion. Oh God, Dynasty and the Aftermath are kicking things off fast and furious here. Ben Tyler just took out Converse and the front row.
And now we're down to Trevor and Xsiris right out of the gate here.
Oh boy. Xsiris goes up and over. Trevor Lee, the only man left standing in the ring at this point. Referee Charles Richardson never had control of this match to lose, quite frankly.
We haven't even had a bell.
He slugs it out on the outside to Xsiris and Tyler. Who's going to start this thing?
Well, I guess by default, Trevor's the legal man right now. And Trevor's content to just let these two beat the hell out of Ben right now.
Chet is very hesitant to step into the fray here. Oh boy. Oh God, up and over!
Over the ring post, over the turnbuckle.
Trevor Lee attempted to dive on the pile. Converse and Xsiris got out of the way. And the three members of the Aftermath are getting absolutely bludgeoned by the two members of the Dynasty that are here with us tonight.
Man, we're just fighting all over the building. Charles Richardson hasn't rung the bell yet.
One of the longtime ringside fans just returned a tag team title that was dropped on the outside on the floor as this fight began, and it is on here at Opportunity Knocks. Dynasty versus Aftermath, finally hooking it up. And Cecil, this thing has been brewing ever since March the 30th when Trevor Lee took control of the Aftermath, kicked out Converse, Xsiris, and Cross, and the three young prospects of the Aftermath, Trevor Lee Ben Tyler and Chet Sterling, really claimed the group as their own.
Oh, and we finally got a bell. You call them prospects, I call them punks. I don't like kids.
Well, the crowd here firmly behind the Dynasty. Trevor Lee getting thrown back in the ring by Xsiris. It looks to me, Cecil, like we're not going to see a lot of finesse here. We're going to see a fight if the Dynasty have their way with things.
Absolutely, man. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of wrestling in this tag team match. This thing's already broken. All hell's broken loose here already.
Oh, gorgeous drop kick.
And for a while, the Dynasty had complete control to start this. And honestly, the youth and athleticism really just took over there for Trevor Lee.
Well, there's some real fury and fire in the eyes of Xsiris right there. Trevor Lee, not only is he morally reprehensible, but he's just downright disgusting, spitting in the face of his opponents, drooling, slobbering all over this place. Trevor Lee, we talked about it a little bit earlier with Nick Richards and with Jason Miller, but Trevor Lee is another guy with just absolutely no respect for anybody.
No respect. I mean, if you're not talking about him, he's not listening. You know, it's the kind of case. All three of these guys, they don't care about anything or any traditions. They do care about titles because they want to feed that ego.
If this is the new breed of professional wrestler, I think I might have liked the old days better.
You and me both. And you know what? It's kind of ironic, and you may not agree with me on this, but you think Xsiris hates Trevor so much because he sees some of himself when he was that age?
It's a possibility. That's a distinct possibility. You know, for a long time, Xsiris has always, inside cradle. Only two. For a long time, Xsiris was known as the hothead of the Aftermath. Even before the Aftermath, he was the hothead of the Dynasty. Cover.
And he was the cocky, young, athletic, talented wrestler who did anything he could to get ahead.
I'm sure Trevor Lee would be happy to mirror Xsiris' success, if not surpass it. I was touched on it earlier. Xsiris, the first Grand Slam winner here. He began his career as the Rising Generation League champion, eventually won the television title, the tag team titles, and the heavyweight title.
Wow.
As well as the CWF Rumble back in 2011.
And very nearly had a Weaver Cup under his belt, too.
Yeah, he's been to the finals more than once. So this is one of the most decorated athletes ever in CWF Mid-Atlantic history.
I mean, you're looking at two franchise guys, and Ric Converse and Xsiris.
And I think that, more than anything, may be what this conflict is about. We talked about the ego of Trevor Lee and Ben Tyler. I think, like you said, they don't care anything about CWF Mid-Atlantic. They don't care about the traditions. They don't care about the sport. But they want to be the franchise players. They want to be the top guys. They want to be looked at like a big deal. And that was never going to happen when they were under the thumb of Converse, Xsiris, and Cross. And that, I think, is the central reason for this conflict. Trevor Lee, Ben Tyler, Chet Sterling were never going to get to act like big shots when they were the JV team on the Aftermath.
Arik with the tag.
Xsiris is legal, fires away with the clothesline. Gorgeous, leaping leg lariat. Oh boy, Ben Tyler falls on the face of Trevor Lee.
Oh man, that could be a concussion.
Chet Sterling hooks the foot. We've seen a lot of outside interference in this event tonight. Cecil Scott, any comment on that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right cross from Xsiris. Trevor Lee stunned on the apron. Tyler, I think, is still legal. Whoa. Oh, God, to the floor. Bodies are flying in this tag team title match.
And Xsiris caught a knee. He was going for that dive. Kick.
Woo, God.
Man, that's a 60-yarder, I think.
Right into your living room.
It's good.
Right through the screen of your mobile device. Trevor Lee just planted that kick.
Man alive, I thought the Dynasty had this thing turned around, and now they've got Xsiris right where they had Converse 2 minutes ago.
A history lesson for our new fans years ago. In fact, it started in August of 2003, nearly 10 years ago. Xsiris, Converse, Brad Attitude, and others were in a group called the Dynasty. That group eventually morphed into the Aftermath, which included Trevor Lee, Ben Tyler, Chet Sterling, and others along the way. The Aftermath was a successful yet hated group in CWF Mid-Atlantic for years and years and years until March the 30th. Cover from Trevor Lee, only two, until March 30th when Trevor Lee took control of the Aftermath. And basically it was that moment, that night, that inspired Converse and Xsiris to reform the Dynasty. And our longtime fans know what that means. You know, we saw Steve Green make a surprise appearance in Absolute Justice. There's a lot of old friends that Converse and Xsiris could call if this rivalry continues on, if this thing gets messy. Reforming the Dynasty, it's almost like sending the bat signal up into the sky. A lot of familiar faces from the past almost 15 years of CWF Mid-Atlantic would be here at the drop of a dime if Converse or Xsiris called for them. So I got to think from that aspect, reforming the Dynasty, a really, really smart move, because it's basically calling in the reinforcements.
Beautiful. Beautiful drop kick, and that's a good point. I think that's something that the new Aftermath didn't really consider when they took these actions, or didn't really care about.
No, I agree with you. I absolutely think that Trevor Lee, Ben Tyler, and Chet Sterling thought after their basically destruction of the Aftermath on March 30th, I believe that they thought we would never see Converse or Xsiris again. At the very least, if we did, they would be a shell of their former selves. And when the Dynasty reformed and captured the tag team titles in their first match back as a team, I think as good as Xsiris and Converse are, and as good as they've been for a long time, I still think they surprised a lot of people winning the tag team titles in their first match back together as a team.
You know, I'll agree with that. I don't think that the Dynasty were the favorites going into into that four-way tag, believe it or not. You know, I think a lot of people saw them as maybe a little past their prime, you know, on the wrong side of their prime, so to speak.
Well, I think perhaps even more than that, I think people understood that it was a big four-corner tag team matchup when the Dynasty won the belts. I think people expected that the Dynasty and the Aftermath would cancel each other out. I don't think they thought that either team would actually leave with the belts.
All right, it kind of lost amongst our commentary right now is that Xsiris just got completely swarmed on that side of the ring.
Well, you're exactly right. Swarm is the word. These three, that's exactly what happened back on March 30th when this entire thing started. They swarmed on Converse and eventually Xsiris as well. And that strategy with Chet Sterling being on the outside, that might be the thing that puts this advantage in the young team's corner here going against these battle-tested veterans.
Man, that's been their MO from the start. And I kind of compare this situation. It's kind of like you have a few young guys riding the bench on a team, and they feel like they should be in the starting lineup, and they don't want to wait their turn. I think that's how they look at Ric Converse and Xsiris, as the old starters that were taking their spot.
I think that's 100% dead on.
You know, they didn't want to develop. They didn't want to take their time and hone their skills.
Well, the skill level of Trevor Lee, like him or not, and I don't, the skill level of Trevor Lee is off the page. This kid is, whether we like it or not, he is qualified to lead this team, and he has gotten Tyler and Chet Sterling worked into a frenzy. Chet Sterling is like 3 or 4 months now undefeated in CWF. A 3 or 4 month winning streak from Chet Sterling that has come under the tutelage of Trevor Lee.
And not against some slouches either. He's beating some big guys.
Lance Lude tonight, Lee Valiant some months ago.
Converse.
So that's the winning streak of Chet Sterling, not to be trifled with.
And, you know, with W's and W, it doesn't matter how you get it as far as I'm concerned.
I believe that.
I would take any W I could get right now.
Converse, eager on the apron to get that tag.
Is Xsiris going to make it to his corner?
Ben Tyler is legal, Ric Converse is legal, the double tag. Converse needs to string some offense together here in this hot Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium on this hot summer night in Gibsonville, North Carolina. We thank you for joining us on demand. Cover from Converse 2, but not quite 3. We thank you for joining us on demand.cwf247.com. We thank you, all of you that joined us here live in the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium. It's about 90-some degrees in here at least.
90,000.
On this hot summer night. Look at Converse stringing some moves together and taking both of his opponents down.
Nice. And that might neutralize Trevor for a moment if they want to try to get something going.
Trevor Lee, so quick, so smart. He thinks on his feet better than anybody. He moves faster than anybody. Mafia kick. Converse drops the leg.
Trevor, he's definitely wise beyond his years as far as ring savvy goes.
Trevor tried to avoid that big strike, and it did not happen. Sends Tyler into the Dynasty corner here.
Man, Ben had the right idea there. He's just in the wrong part of town.
Xsiris now looking to put something together here. Xsiris striking away at Tyler. Xsiris needs to be careful. He might get swarmed again here. Trevor Lee trying to trip him up. It did not happen.
Oh man, boy. Just powered him.
Oh, God! Hit him right in the back of the head.
That was in the neck, it looked like. And Xsiris doesn't care.
Xsiris continuing to fight. He kicks away Trevor Lee again.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Oh!
Oh, my God. Tower of Doom.
I don't think anybody knew what anybody else was doing. Everyone is down except for Converse, who's going for the legal man.
And these fans are definitely on their feet.
Woo!
That was awesome.
Trevor Lee just saved the match for his team. Ben Tyler is down and hurt. Trevor Lee is still not legal, I don't think, Cecil. The legal men are still going to be
Ben and Rick.
Well, now it's going to be Xsiris. Charles Richardson, I think, is going to count that tag.
Man, that wasn't a legal corner.
Wrong corner, but Richardson's going to count it. Trevor Lee.
Powerbomb.
Good Lord, the head honcho is getting dominated right here.
Charles is going to count it.
Woo! Oh. Super kick in the side of the head. Rang his bell there. Converse clotheslines Tyler all the way to the floor. Action is fast and furious here at Opportunity Knocks.
And I'm looking on the floor. It doesn't look like either of those two are getting back in anytime soon. We're left with Ben Tyler, Xsiris.
It's going to be Trevor Lee and Xsiris. Tyler and Converse down on the floor. Trevor Lee, nope. Woo! Kicked X right in the face.
Orange Crush.
Oh, God, it was the Orange Crush. Going for the cover right there. This is it. New champs. No, Converse saves the belts.
Orange Crush, one of the hardest moves in pro wrestling to pull off, and he did it flawlessly. The kid is good.
All 4 men are back in the ring now. Fans are calling for the Richter scale on Trevor Lee.
Pin from behind.
Got the feet. Great move from Tyler. Bin breaker. Drops him down. It has been a car crash the last few minutes of this bout. Oh, got Trevor Lee.
Oh.
Super kick. Just takes Trevor Lee down. Mafia kick from Converse. Xsiris, double underhook impaler. Drilled Ben Tyler with it. Converse is standing guard. And they win it. The Dynasty make a successful first title defense. Incredible main event action. Cecil Scott, it could have gone either way.
Could have gone either way. The Aftermath made a hell of a showing for themselves. They show that they belong.
By pinfall in 12 minutes and 16 seconds. And still, CWF Tag Team Champions, the Dynasty!
Incredible action in our main event. Thank you everyone for joining us on demand at CWF247.com. We thank you for your purchase. We thank you for your live event attendance. We thank you for every dollar that you give us here as we continue to strive to put on the best quality events in the Mid-Atlantic. Hang on. Hang on.
Trevor getting in Ben's face.
Trevor Lee and Chet Sterling walking off from Ben Tyler. Well, thank you for your patronage. We will see you in 2 weeks at No Excuses. All the information on that big event is at CWF247.com.